What's going on, everybody? Demarco and Eric here with another episode of Deadlifts, Dogs, and Dad Jokes, and we're back in the game. It's been a little bit of a hiatus, but we are back. Very excited to come back together and share with you our insight, knowledge, wisdom to help you become your strongest self and have some fun along the way. So very pumped about that. And a quick reminder about our 1,000 subscriber challenge. Now that we're back on our rhythm of regular uploads, you'll be seeing more of us, getting more content. But when the channel reaches 1,000 subscribers, we're going to select 3 winners to win the following. It's going to be a Deadlifts, Dogs, and Dad Jokes t-shirt, which we are currently in the works of designing, a free 3-month program, and then a 1-hour virtual training session. So very excited about that. And yeah, give us a subscribe and hit that bell notification, do all that YouTube algorithm stuff, and help us grow. So, but we're here first and foremost. We're here to give you value. So we're very excited about that. Eric, what's up, man?
Not a whole lot, man. It is a lot, but obviously we'll save it for future episodes. I think we'll get into just the basics today. But man, I feel like it's been a while. We were talking off the air. It's probably been at least 6 months to a year since our last pod.
Yeah, it's been a while, man. There's been so much going on. I mean, obviously, life got busier and busier for me. It got busy for you too. I know you did some workshops, and you were busy as well. So, but yeah, it's been things have. They're still always busy. I feel like the life of a parent is constant, but things definitely have settled down in many ways as well, which is nice. So,
well, even to add to that, Demarco, I feel as if you were so smooth there. Like for the first time, that was a first take right there. We didn't need a second, third, fourth, fifth take. We were right away. Hit it right in the money that first time.
I felt good. Yeah, thank you. It felt good to get back into it. Now, we've done this a few times, so I remember the that first part of it, which definitely helped. So, Eric, let's start with you, man. How are you doing? What's your life been like the last few months? How's work? How are your workouts? How's life, dude?
Yeah, thanks for asking. Yeah, I would say, it's been a journey. I'll just give the Cliff Note version. So we'll start in the spring here. So even before this summer, I think let's say maybe around like February, March, around that time. Work's always been really busy. Like as you know, with Lifetime, we have to be one of the busiest gyms in the country. So Burlington, Massachusetts, Lifetime, we're like top 3 as far as revenue and all that kind of stuff. And we bring in a lot of members. So it was probably the busiest I had been since I had been a trainer. So we're talking 30 plus sessions. Just a lot of new trainers that started with us. We had a lot of new hires, so trying to develop them on top of being able to keep up with my own business. So that was just a lot to juggle. And then I know me and you were going back and forth, whether it was through text, through voice text, and just trying to figure out times to even talk or catch up. And it was really hard for us, but to be expected. I think that was that's that time frame. And like you were sort of alluding in the intro, I've done a bunch of workshops. One of my mentors, I don't know I think you know the name Matt Ibrahim.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So I went to he had a workshop that he hosted at Endicott College. That was really cool. Maybe we'll get him on an episode, or at least we can run through that, maybe one episode, some of the things I learned from that. But that'll be for another time. But yeah, between that, the Boyles, it was that 2-day seminar that they had. That was really, really good. I think we were talking about that. That was
that
was a really good hands-on seminar. So I've gone to that for years. I actually looked back. I think it had been like 8 or 9 years that I've gone to that. So I've gone, post Boyles, I've gone a lot. And I don't know about you, man. I'm going up on year 11 in the industry. I think you're probably around the same. Now, it's funny. I still don't really count like that first year. So I'm year 11, but like that first year, I was doing an internship at Boyle. So I don't even really, that first year was just kind of me getting my feet wet and seeing what I wanted to do with everything. So I just feel like it was so early on. But I would say, as far as in the training field and really in the trenches, I would say like, as far as solid years, probably like 7 or 8. And I know you probably agree with me. The first couple of years, obviously they count and they do bring you to where you're at now. But I always felt like the first couple of years, you're just feeling it out and seeing, is this the career you want?
Yeah.
I always say at the beginning, it's almost like a job. You're not really sure, like as far as whether you want it to be a long-term career,
Oh,
or you just
exactly.
want it to be something that you're going to do for a little bit and then move on to something else. So as you can see, we both stuck with the field.
Absolutely, man.
Um, yeah, and then I'm trying to think what else. And then I mean, on the cusp of summertime, summer's been busy, man. I feel like every weekend I have something going on. Like my parents live in upstate New York, as you know, so I visit them a lot.
Yep.
One of my friends is getting married soon, so a bachelor party is actually this upcoming weekend in the Finger Lakes.
Nice,
You
man.
know, yeah, so it's like Seneca Lake, so it's way up north. I don't know if you know that area, but yeah, that got that going on. I've been networking with a bunch of people, whether it's obviously in Boston, but I have some friends in Connecticut that I'm networking with. We're trying to get something going as far as some content, so maybe we'll get them on the pod too. There were people from the Boyle seminar, and we've kept in touch. So there's two of us. Well, there's more than two, but there's two that I've really been connecting with, and they have
Yep.
one of them owns a gym, the other one does like online business kind of thing, and we're trying to all collab, but our schedules just haven't lined up. One of them's
Oh,
getting
yeah.
married soon, the other one's got something else going on. So that's been tough to figure out. But yeah, other than that, yeah. And then as far as I think you knew I live in Woburn. I've been in Woburn for almost a year now. I have two
Yep.
roommates, but we're actually it's expensive, as you know. Like I've been renting for the last like 10 years. I eventually want to own. I don't have a family yet, so it's just kind of timing. But yeah, eventually I want to be able to own, but I got to start saving money. So I'm actually moving to Medford, so a couple towns over from Woburn. The place is pretty good quality still. It's not like 2 years old, but it's still really nice. It's a house, but we're on like the top floor of a house. So it's me and I have
Nice.
two other roommates. So
Awesome,
I'll be
man.
saving. It's a lot cheaper. So, but yeah, that's the Cliff Note version. I definitely want to get a little bit deeper into it, but I know with the time and stuff like that, I don't want to take up too much time. But yeah, I'd say it's Cliff Note version. Obviously, like I said, staying busy with seminars and work and outside life. Obviously, like I said, just each weekend, I've had some things going on, whether it's family stuff, whether it's friends. But
Yep.
yeah, I mean, I know for you, Demarco, you've had more of a crazy situation in the last 6 months than I've had, as far
Yeah.
as you move in a whole other state. So I'm curious to hear about you. Obviously, give the Cliff Notes version. I'd be curious to know what's going on with you. So what's up?
Oh, sure, man. Yeah, and I just like you, I'm right around that 11, 12 year mark as well in the
Yeah.
industry. And yeah, the first year I look back on it sometimes and go, man, what a guy that talk about a guy that really didn't know what he was doing. I remember my first session as a coach, and I just gotten certified, and I started training, and I just came into my session, and I didn't say this out loud to the client, but in my head I'm thinking, oh man, I don't really know what a personal trainer is. Like, do I just hang out while they work out? Do I just high five them? Do I give them water? I don't know what this job is,
What
right?
do I do with my hands? What do I do with my hands?
What I do
Right.
with my hands, yeah. So it's really funny. You're right. The first couple years,
Yeah.
I mean, I think it all counts for sure because
Yeah.
you got to start somewhere, and
Yeah. I mean,
I can,
I'm partially kidding. Obviously, every year counts. I just feel like that first year, like you're just not even sure whether you're just doing this because you like working
yeah,
out. And
yeah,
obviously, I mean, I have a degree in exercise science. So I mean, I'm sure
exactly,
you as well. But it becomes more of like, are you like, am I going to do this for a long time, or is this going to be just like a one
exactly.
off, like 1 or 2 year thing, or even 3 year, and then that's
Oh,
it? But kind of just stuck with it, and
well,
obviously,
yeah. And the average career of a trainer,
it's
I think
5 years.
it's like 2 or 3 years.
Oh, the 2 or 3. I said five as a highest amount, but yeah, I think two or
Yeah,
three is probably right.
because
Yeah,
because we're anomaly wouldn't be the right word, but we're not your average trainers because it's our career. A lot of people become trainers part time, right? It's a side hustle, it's a
yeah,
job, it's a
exactly.
weekend warrior kind of thing, which I
I
have
see.
nothing against it. I think that's great.
Yeah,
It's if it's great people entering the industry that are serving others and adding value, then I love it. I
yeah,
think it's great, especially because you end up getting a lot of people from diverse backgrounds, which is really cool. Um,
facts. Yeah,
but yeah, dude, the 6 year run of Boston ended for us, and
for 6 years. Okay, yeah. So I knew you from the start.
yeah, it's really cool, man, because we we came in on a championship and we left on a championship.
Oh,
So
you
we
did.
came in right before the Pats Super Bowl
Oh, that's
against the
right.
Rams, and
Yeah,
we left right after the Celtics,
Celtics.
winning banner number 18. So it was really man, it was
Bittersweet.
really special. Uh,
Yeah,
17 or 18. Hang on.
Banner 18. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Banner 18. Yep.
So it was really cool, man. It was a lovely send off. I know it wasn't just for me, of course, but it was just a really funny timing the way it worked.
Wait, they didn't win that championship for you, dude? I thought that was for you.
Yeah, I think they did it for me. Yeah. So, and we can talk about this later, but I'm sure you've been following like Jaylen Brown and what he plans on doing with the contract money, and he's doing
Yes.
some really cool stuff, like essentially
Awesome. Yeah.
creating Black Wall Street. I love it. I think it's amazing.
He's doing great things for community. He's one of my favorites,
I love
honestly.
it. No, he's
Yeah.
amazing. And
Yep.
I love it when you love the athlete, you love their game, but then when you love and respect them off the court as well,
Oh,
and that's really just neat. That's just really cool. Because let's be honest, we don't need to name names, but there's a lot of players that we loved watching, growing up, but like later on, kind of, you know, weren't exactly what you would call a high value human off of the court. So,
for sure. Yeah.
but yeah, dude, Lauren finished. So she did a 4-year residency and then a 2-year fellowship, and it came quick, dude. Let me tell you, she graduated at the end of June, and on July 2nd, we were on an airplane going to Portugal. Lauren, Vivi, and I, we went to Portugal for 2 weeks. Went to 4 or 5 different cities, or cities/towns, and we came back on the 17th, and then the moving truck came on the 29th. So
Wow.
we got back, and we hit the ground running. I mean, we were, cleaning, packing, selling off a bunch of stuff on Facebook Marketplace, / giving away, and just honestly trying to keep Vivi out of the house more, so that the strategy essentially was I took Vivi out of the house so that Lauren could do that stuff.
Wasn't she playing sports or something? You had like a sport. She was doing like soccer.
Oh yeah, dude, we did soccer too. Yeah, that finished up in June though. Right before we left for Portugal, which was perfect timing. So yeah, we did soccer, which was really fun. It was my 3rd season as a coach. So I coached 2 soccer seasons and a t-ball season. So
let me ask you this: on the spot here, what would you say? What was the biggest thing you learned as a soccer coach? Like, I guess as a coach in general, what was the biggest updates in the last couple of years with that?
That's a great question, man. Yeah, the 2 things that really stood out to me are, number one, it's one thing to say that everybody is different. Yeah. But a lot of these kids that I coached, I met at Vivi's playgroup and spent a lot of time with them, played with them, did a bunch of activities with them. And let me tell you, it's true, man. No 2 kids are alike in this group. I mean, they're all very different. They have similarities, right? But everything is different. Energy, their temperament, their likes, their dislikes, their quirks. Everything is totally spread out across the board, which is really cool. So, at 3/4 years old, we're not really, I'm not taking out the whiteboard and drawing circles and X's, you know what I mean, and planning plays or anything. It was mostly just games. We just wanted to have fun, and that's really the main thing I focused on was let's have fun, let's have some fun games, and let's have this first because they're not going to remember it. They're little kids. The parents will remember, which would be cool. But let's start them on the path of athletics are fun. Let's have fun, and let's not worry about winning. You know what I mean? Yeah. Trying to become the next, turn you into the next, Messi or Pele.
Right. Right. Makes sense.
I think that was a big thing there. And I just got creative, man. I found some cool pages online, and we shot the ball in the goal, and we ran around, and we did some fun stuff. But we did a lot of other random games too, just for fun, just to get the kids engaged. Like we grabbed a couple of pool noodles, and we played the game Alien Arms, which is basically you hold the pool noodles and you wave them like this, like you're swinging alien tentacles, and chase the kids with it. And they had fun, and then they actually wanted to hold the tentacles too, and then chase us. So it was just fun. The kids are running, they're having fun, and it's safe. Obviously, I wouldn't do this obviously, but even if you hit somebody full strength with a pool noodle, unless it was like right in the face, it's probably not going to really do much damage, right? So, but it was fun, man. Yeah, we just had fun, and my 3 little tenets, I guess, of coaching that I kind of thought about / put together during the T-ball season was we're focusing on building skills, building confidence, and having fun. So that was actually, I wish I was wearing it right now, but I have
that would be perfect. Yeah.
I have a T-shirt of the T-ball league, and I almost put it on the back of the shirt, but I didn't have enough space for it.
Awesome.
So, but yeah, dude, Lauren finished up that fellowship, and like I said, we went to Portugal, we came back, and then on the 29th, the truck came, and the next day we were on the road, and we drove, let's see, we drove to Columbia, Maryland, and
Okay.
stayed the night there, and then the second day we drove to Durham, and it's a crazy change because we're back in the South, which is where I'm from anyway, so that
Yeah.
part's not crazy, but
Yeah.
traveling with a 3.5-year-old and a dog and a cat.
It's a lot. Yeah. I can
You
see that
know,
being a lot.
I will say we hired movers, so I wasn't driving a truck. We weren't loading up a pod or anything like that. They came and did everything. So that
Yeah.
was that part of it was really nice. Because it was enough just to try to corral the little mini zoo that we have.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, man, you've seen my place. You've seen my old
Yeah.
place in Somerville. It was good. It was a good 3-bedroom, nice yard area. This
Yeah.
place that my wife Lauren found is a luxury apartment building. So it's got your apartment units in here. There's a gym and a real gym, by the way. There's dumbbells, kettlebells, no barbell, but there is a Smith machine, and I'm like, that's fine. That's you can still do a lot of the Smith machine. So
Definitely. Yeah.
you can't really barbell deadlift or back squat, but that's
No.
that's
It's
fine.
okay.
I'll
Yeah.
just go get a gym membership. But there's pull up bar. There's a heavy bag and
Good.
rowers,
Yeah.
bikes, plyo boxes, and there's plenty of stuff in there to work with. So yeah, and there's a pool, there's a business center, there's this huge common area. It's really nice, and it's kind of crazy because obviously we're in North Carolina. It's the South. The cost of living is much lower, so we went from 3 bedrooms back to two, but
That's okay.
bigger space.
Yeah. I was gonna say your space is
So
probably more.
the
Yeah.
living room and the kitchen are more spacious, which is pretty cool. So
We'll have
um,
to do one episode where you do like an MTV Cribs and you bring us around your
absolutely. Oh, that
place.
would be great. Oh yeah, that would be really fun. Yeah.
And
Um,
one day we'll visit for sure. I want to get down there too.
Oh, dude, you totally should. Yeah, and we
Yeah.
you got space for you to crash, and you'd love it, man. It's really fun. But yeah, and on another little side note, I swear I'm always the luckiest guy in the world because I got here, I saw the gym, and my very first thought was, all right, where am I going to coach? What am I doing? Because that's
Yeah.
how we're wired. We're like, well, I need to work. I got to be working.
Yeah.
And I've got online clients, which I'm very grateful for, who've just
Yeah.
with me through pandemics, gym closures, and now me moving. But this
Yeah.
gym is awesome. It's got great equipment. I literally just walked up to building management and I said, "Hey, I'm a certified coach. I've been doing this for 12 years. I've got liability insurance. Can I train here? Am I allowed to train here? Is that okay?" And they just said, "Yeah, that's fine." And I said,
Okay.
"Do I need to pay a fee or whatever?" And they're just like, "No, it's fine. You can train here. Just if it's one-on-one and you're not taking up the entire gym space, that's fine." Which I never do. I usually just use a little small space anyway. Set up. You know how it is. Set up circuits. Try to be
Yeah.
minimally minimal impact.
So are
Um,
you? Well, let me ask you this: Are you? So what part of Carolina are you? North Carolina. So where in North Carolina are you? Not that I
I
know
mean,
exactly.
I'm in Durham, which is right next to
Or Durham.
Raleigh. So it's like the Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, the triangle
You're
area.
near you're near University of North Carolina, UNC.
Very close. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
awesome.
Absolutely. It's
That's cool,
probably,
man.
I'm guessing, like 20 minutes away, maybe a half hour at most. So
Really cool. Yeah, so I mean, I obviously I hate to cut you off, but I was just more curious to know. So you're doing the one-on-one thing mostly. Are a lot of your clients, are they like remote? Or they, as far as you're doing this like online stuff with them, or are they
yeah,
coming in?
I'm at an interesting crossroads right now, man. So right now, 100% of my client base is online. I've got
Okay.
virtual, a
Yep.
couple of clients I just write programs for, a couple of
Yep.
clients that I meet with on Zoom, do live coaching on Zoom, and then a couple that meet together in a group. Which I've been trying to
Cool.
get more people into the group because the game, more people, the same amount of time, earn a little bit
Yeah,
more, and charge less per person. It's super beneficial for everyone across the board.
definitely. Yeah.
But as it happens, I put in a couple job applications and was looking around. And there's some gyms that are walking distance from me, which is great.
Yeah.
And there's actually a CrossFit gym that actually has caught my eye because it's a quarter mile away,
Yep.
and on their website they said you don't have to be CrossFit certified to coach there. They said as long as you have a nationally accredited cert, you
That'd
can
be
coach
good.
there. So I'm
That's
interested. I'm actually going to go visit it later today. Um,
nice. Really
but I
cool.
have an in-person client coming in to sign up with me on Wednesday. So I had like my first one at this
Yeah.
apartment gym. So it's
Yeah.
things are coming together, man. It's pretty awesome.
Dude, that's great. I mean, I was going to ask you, so obviously even segue a little too, I think, so you obviously from just a training perspective, what are the biggest things you're doing now with clients? Is there anything I know you have some things up your sleeve you said for your own training, but what do you like what does your client workouts look like? Obviously just basics. Like are you doing like 3-day programs, 4-day programs, 5-day programs? Like what do their programs look like? Just basic overview.
That's a great question, man. Yeah. So it depends. You know that answer that
Yeah.
everyone needs to
Yeah.
hear.
Yeah,
I
I
would
would just say like on average, what does it look
probably averaging 3 workouts a week for most people. Three
like? Okay.
full body.
Yeah.
A typical 3 or 4 exercise circuit, a push, a pull. Upper body push, upper body pull, and then the lower body movement.
Yeah.
And then on one of those days, a bilateral, say squat or a deadlift, and then on the other day, a unilateral single leg deadlift,
Yeah.
step up, reverse lunge type
Yep.
move, and then same thing with the push pull as well. But of course, also the art comes in. The science and art come together because it's all a matter of where are they working out, what equipment do they have,
Yeah.
what are their
Exactly.
goals, what limitations they have. They have any mobility restrictions. There's obviously
Exactly.
a lot of variables that we process quickly, right? Because we're just running through our checklist, but then we start talking about it. People are like, "Oh wow, that's a lot to think about." But yeah, I would say probably averaging about 3 workouts a week. I have a couple of clients who are, you know, just hard charger go getters, and I
Mhm.
have to actually take volume off of their plates because they'll do more. Like if I
Yeah.
say, you know, give me 6 to 10 reps. If because I like to give rep ranges sometimes too if we're using a weight that they're not used to,
Yeah.
especially if I'm not there in person with them. If I'm in person,
Yeah.
we can make those adjustments live. But if it's
Yeah.
like, hey, this is your workout, 6 to 10 reps. Let's see how it feels. Report back to me, and we'll adjust from there. I've got
Yeah.
clients that'll do 10 every time, and they'll
Yeah.
like grind it out for 10, no matter what.
Yeah.
Some of those clients, I'll have to tell them like, I actually want you to have 1 to 2 reps in the tank, which I know you've heard before
Yep.
from DeFranco, from Ben Bruno, and other many awesome coaches,
Yeah.
uh, just like them. So
Mhm.
yeah, I mean it. I would say I'm getting better at just being more flexible and putting together a good program
Yeah.
for clients based on kind of their current situation. And I'm definitely just from being a parent the last almost 4 years now. I'm definitely good at putting together a program that will accommodate time constraints, equipment
Yeah.
constraints, space, etc. So I feel like a lot of people are back in the gym now, so that's kind of it makes it easier. But
Yeah.
you can still get a great workout at home. I mean, you saw Ben Bruno's program is super minimalist. I mean,
Yeah.
it's very much designed for the busy person at home. And actually, if you look at his gym, he really doesn't have a lot of equipment. I mean, it's
No,
it's
it's a garage gym.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's it's good, but it's not.
he
He's
doesn't
not.
even have a he doesn't even have a barbell rack. He doesn't even have a rack. I think he has a landmine, but then he just pretty much has a bench and a chin up bar and maybe I mean obviously maybe some kettlebells, things like that. I
Yeah.
say obviously I don't know if he has kettlebells, but
I mean, he
yeah,
has the adjustable. I think he has like 1 pair of the adjustable dumbbells, which is
yes.
smart. You don't need if you have a gym, that's one thing. You
Yeah.
can have a whole rack of dumbbells. But if you have a garage or a home gym, a set of adjustables that goes up to 50 pounds for most people is more than enough, right? I
Yeah.
mean, you know, I don't want to brag, but like for you and I, for presses, that wouldn't be really particularly heavy.
No.
We would need something probably the 60 pound, 70 pound range
180.
likely until you
Yeah.
start going into incline, and then that changes.
Yeah.
Incline and overhead would be different for me, but
Same with me too. Yeah.
are you pressing the 80s?
Not over I'm not going overhead with it, but
Are
I
you
can
are you
do
horizontal pressing 80s?
I could do like on a deep incline, not all the way up, but like a
That's
pretty
awesome,
high
man.
incline. I don't know the
There you
exact
go.
degree, but I could do 80s. Not I mean all the way up. If I'm doing a traditional shoulder press, I couldn't. I don't think
Oh
maybe
yeah,
70 would probably be a max,
yeah,
but like you're probably in the same boat as me. I mean, it's all based on feel. I mean,
yeah.
I record all my numbers. I mean, as far as training wise, but
Sure.
yeah, I mean, I couldn't tell you a lot. I don't think I've done 80s overhead. I think 70 or 75 is probably the highest I've done
Yeah,
overhead.
yeah. No, that's awesome.
But to piggyback, I love all the things you said. I mean, piggyback off what you said with your own clients, I'm the same way. I mean, the difference for me, I mean, I see all my people at the gym
Yeah,
at Lifetime. But that being said, there's always those times where clients will travel, whatever else. So, like to what you had said too, you got to be creative a little bit. And depending on the space they have, obviously, and the equipment they have, all that, you have to make adjustments. But
Yep.
sometimes you're obviously not there necessarily, or you're not training them on the spot. They're like, hey, like I'm going away for 3 weeks. Like, can you put together a hotel gym style workout? Even though I don't
That's
know what
it.
the hotel gym is going to look like,
That's it.
um, unless they send me photos of it. But yeah, I mean, much like yourself, though, I mean, I have templates. I have things that I gravitate back towards, whether it's the client that has minimal equipment, client that has some equipment, or a client that has a whole gym. I mean, obviously, and then you bring in all the other stuff, what their goals are, what their training history is, what their injury history is, what their mobility limitations are, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And obviously, when you're with the person and you're able to be with them, and you can make adjustments on the fly. But
Yeah.
when you're not, it's a little harder. And that's what you had mentioned, the rep range thing. That's going to be key. I use the RPE scale too. I'm sure you use
I
that a
love
lot.
RP. Yep. Yep.
It's a rate of perceived exertion. So I mean, that I look at it as like, how hard are they working on this set? And a lot of times I can just adjust there. So like, I know Tony Gemacor does the daily estimated maxes.
Yep. Yep.
We're gonna talk about that. So it's like, yeah, today we're gonna go for your 5 rep daily estimated max, but it could be different each time you work out. That's why the percentages sometimes are especially for our general pop clients, are always tough, because it's like, yeah, one day they feel really, really good, but then another time, like 80, like if you were to say, oh, let's do 80% of your deadlift for 5 RM or whatever, but they're 1 week feel really good, the next week they feel like shit. It's very hard to gauge it, as
Yeah.
opposed to when they're doing like a competition where it's like, okay, we need to shoot for these numbers. Like our general population clients, the exact numbers aren't going to mean that much. I think it's just more how they feel, and
Oh yeah.
it's off of,
I
only
care.
off of that.
I care less and less about 1 RM as I get
Yeah.
older.
Oh my God. Yeah.
My goals change. I mean,
Yeah.
I I never particularly cared for a 1 RM for a client unless that was a goal. Like I had a guy
Yeah.
train years ago who was in his 50s. Guy was in really good shape. Coming to me already, was in great shape. I mean,
Love
I'm
that. That's good.
I,
That's the
I
best
helped
people.
him. I think I helped him maybe get 1 or 2% better. I mean, we only trained for about a month or two, and
Yeah.
honestly, I just showed him some new stuff. I did some mobility with him to kind of open up his upper back and his
Yeah.
hips. But he wanted to finish his last workout. He just wanted to press the 70s. So I mean, he was already pressing like 55s, and I was like, all right, cool. Well, we're gonna slowly work our way up.
Yeah.
Let's grab the 60s. Give me a set of 10. Let's grab grab the 55s. Give me a set of 10. Grab the 60s. Give me a set of 8. Grab the
Yep.
65s. Give me a set of 6. I mean, classic drop set. And by the end of that cycle, we just slowly worked our way up. And the last workout, I think he did 3 or 4 sets of 10 at 70, which was
That's
awesome.
really good.
He felt good. He felt empowered, and I was like, hell yeah, man. Now that technically wasn't a 1 rep max,
No.
like a working max,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
But it was but there's many ways to measure your progress for sure. So
Yeah. So to transition your own training, what's that look like right now?
yeah, man. So I'm still on the Sinister train. I'm still doing my swings and get ups, although I have changed things a little bit. So I'm actually going to give a shout out to one of our podcast guests from a couple years ago. Wandering Girdovic is his Instagram handle, but it's Zach Morris. His real name is Zach Morris, and he I messaged him recently because I right before we went on vacation, I was getting really felt like I was getting really close to hitting the goal. So I tested, and I the same thing happened again. My legs just stalled out on me at about
Yeah.
3 minutes, and it's 5 minutes to swing. So you gotta. It's like I essentially was failing at 60%, and it was annoying because grip and cardio were good. It's just my legs. I just the lactic acid buildup. My legs just stopped working.
Yeah.
Uh, so I messaged him and I said, dude, and I was so angry. I dropped a bunch of expletives in the message. I was like, I'm so mother effing frustrated. How the f did you do it? I just sent him a DM, and he messaged me right back, and he said the key is to learn how to teach you to train your body to work with a shorter rest period. It's not
Yeah.
just the number of reps; it's working within that rest period. So because it's roughly 15 seconds of rest is what you're getting after each set of swings, and it's not a lot, and you get smoked for sure.
Yeah.
So I started his protocol on my Monday workout, which I'm going to do today, and instead of trying to hit the 100 in 5 minutes and just kind of ramming my head against the wall and kind of getting nowhere and eventually even like backsliding, I started with 50 swings, but with 10 seconds of rest. So he actually cranks it up even a little bit more, but
Wow.
drops volume, and then you slowly
Yeah.
work your way up. So I'm to where I'm at the point now where I can do about 60 to 70 swings with the 10-second rest, and I'm just slowly working my way up there. And he said, do that, do your get ups, do your other whatever stuff, and then when you can hit the 100 with the 10 seconds, you're ready. So I'm gonna probably within the next like anywhere from 4 to 12 weeks. I'll just give myself a nice wide window, depending on life, etc.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm doing that, and it's been fun. It keeps me focused. I kept my one kettlebell. I had 23 kettlebells. I sold almost all of them to my friend Tanner for him to have at his garage, at his basement gym. I kept my 48 because that's the one that I train with for Sinister.
That's
And
cool, nice.
Yeah, so I've been doing those workouts, and then I started. Eric, have you ever heard of Kali?
No.
Yeah, no, I hadn't either. So it's basically it's a Filipino martial art, and it's stick fighting. So
Wow.
basically,
Okay.
it's really cool, man. If you ever
Really
watch,
cool.
do you know the character Nightwing from
What's that
Batman?
from? Oh, Batman. Yeah. Yeah.
We're gonna nerd out a little bit, but it's basically so Dick Grayson, the very first Robin. After he kind of retires as Robin, he then becomes Nightwing, which is it's essentially the same character. It's just he's in another costume, but he has two sticks that he uses to fight criminals, and that's basically what he uses. It's called Kali, but it's fun, man. I signed up for it's a Kali Center online,
Yep.
and started doing their videos. It was a super cheap monthly membership. There's a bunch of video modules you can follow. They have a bunch of YouTube videos, which is how I found them, and they do one-on-one virtual coaching every month. So I've been working on footwork, striking with the stick, coordination, and
Wicked cool, man. Nice.
it's been really fun, man. It's just fun learning a new skill, being a total bare bones beginner again.
Yeah.
And I've used what I've learned with the Kali and incorporated it into my regular training. Like there's a lot of cool hip mobility work they've been doing, activation work, footwork, getting the heart rate up, a little bit of aerobic benefit there. And yeah, the coordination piece is fun because I've definitely I've never done any of that kind of stuff before. So it's really tough. Like to try to sync up striking with a stick and your feet is tougher than it looks. So, but it's a fun
Cool,
challenge.
dude. Yeah. I mean, even to add to that for my own style of training, now I'm sure you were going to ask me that next. I mean, what I've been doing, but a lot of it. I mean, I love that you're very diverse. Like you're getting out there, you're trying new things too. Which I mean, I'll be honest, man. I don't know about you. Like the boring stuff works, and I still do all the stuff I've been doing for years. I always think that the easy training is good training, right?
Easy training is
all
good
the time.
training.
It's freaking holds true, man. It never stops. I mean, I don't know about you. Like I still am excited to lift a heavy or have a heavy deadlift day. Like I love to really push a heavy deadlift. Just that feeling of standing up with the weight is you feel like you're conquering something. It's just a really cool feeling.
Oh, absolutely, man.
So I mean, between that and then like I love that. So like with the kettlebells, are you still doing Sean Bryan's stuff, or are you done with him?
Oh yeah. He and I
still
are
working with him.
on. He writes me 3 to 4 workouts a week. Yep.
Oh, cool, nice. So you have that incorporated. So you're doing that on top of the Sinister, on top of the what's the other thing you said?
The Kali. I will say, like, other than that one little the protocol, the rest of my workouts are programmed by Sean. So he's got me doing pistol squats. We're doing one arm push up work, Turkish get ups, and I've got a set of rings now that hook up anywhere. They've got the straps you can hook them on a swing set or whatever.
Yeah.
He's got me doing pull ups too. So it's it's awesome.
Yeah.
John Bryan's the best.
So much of what you're saying, I mean, I really think that for anybody listening or just people in general, that the key is to find things that you like to do outside of the gym and use that for your goals, in my opinion. Like, right. So like someone's like, I want to run a Spartan race, or, I want to, whatever, play competitive basketball, or I want to ski, or whatever the activities are, like try to transition your programming to kind of be sort of around that. Doesn't have to be all of it, but I think it just helps kind of give some sort of like concrete thing to work on. I mean, it can be simple. I know some of my clients, it's really like simpler than that. They're like, oh, I just want to not feel tired when I'm going up the stairs or whatever, right? Then you just start to think about elements that you could put in their programs. I get it. Like, I mean, I don't know about you. Like, I don't necessarily have any like crazy specific goals, but I want to stay athletic. I mean, I'm in my 30s like you are. I want to be able to
Yeah,
do
man.
things in my daily life that
We're starting to creep up towards the next decade, so we're slowly getting there. I
mid
turned
30s,
35
man.
next
Yeah,
year.
we're there. I'm in the mid 30s. We're there, but
Getting there,
yeah, I
dude.
mean, like, yeah, I guess what I'm getting at is I know that they say, like, training reverses aging, all that kind of stuff. But if nothing else, it'll help preserve things, right? So it'll help
Yeah,
preserve your muscle, it'll help preserve your tissues and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know about you, like, if I could start preserving now rather than 20 years from now, I mean, it's
yeah,
only going to help me long term. So it's like I look at it as like the benefits you're reaping now will hopefully, assuming everything, you stay healthy, everything down the road will help as well. So just I look at like the long term effects as well, but then I know like short term I'm going to feel good in that moment too. So it's like it's a win win in that regard. But I like, for instance, I did a kettlebell course through Pain Free Performance, the PPSC.
yeah. Oh, John Russin?
John Russin, but it was
Awesome.
who ran the course? Cliff, I forget how to say his last name. Hartsky. He has a functional kettlebell training course that he ran.
Oh, sick. Yeah.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. I can send you a link to that. But he's
Oh, please
awesome.
do.
He's a wizard with a kettlebell.
He just followed me on Instagram seemingly out of nowhere, but that's really funny.
He's a stud. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I did a cert. It was a 2 day, 8 hour. I thought of you the whole time. It was this is around, actually, you know what it was? It was last year, around the end of last year. So like it was probably around the
Yeah.
time we stopped doing pods. So like I was like, shoot, man, this would have been a great episode to
Good
go over a
timing.
lot of
Yep.
stuff. But yeah, it was awesome. And it was 2 8 hour days. I mean, he went through everything. I mean, I could go. I mean, it's the basic stuff, but then he went through a lot more like movement stuff. So like moving with a kettlebell, but doing like you might do like a clean, but then you go into a lunge, and then you go into a lateral movement. Like you're
Oh, yeah.
constantly going like forward, side, back.
Absolutely, man.
It's like reactionary stuff. So like the kettlebell might go on one side, and then it goes to the other side, and you're just constantly. It's like dance moves, but it's pretty freaking cool. I think you would like it.
Oh,
I don't
absolutely.
know if he's coming to your area, but you can look into that. But it might be
Right.
connecting with him is cool. But yeah, I mean, I've started to incorporate kettlebells. I definitely wish I did more of it. Like I tend to find myself, I like to, me, I like the traditional stuff. So I stick to the presses and the pull ups and chin
Oh,
ups and
yeah.
rows and, like I said, deadlifts. I like the safety bar squat. Use that a lot.
I
So
love the safety bar, man. Safety bar is
yeah,
one of the best pieces of equipment ever invented, man. Yep.
yeah. So I follow a program right now, but it's like, I right now it's more like I have an upper body day, I have a lower body day. So I have upper, lower, and then I have two total body days. So that's what
Nice.
my current program is more of that. Now, as you're well aware, like I've progressed over time, so it's progressive, progressive type program. So I I've had programs where it was upper lower, or I've even done like push pull leg, that kind of thing,
Yep.
and or like all just total body days. But the idea, in my opinion, is you want to keep the training interesting. So like adding some kettlebell stuff in has been great. Like I've done it as kettlebell work as like finishers at the end of workouts. I've done
Oh, yeah.
kettlebell work start off workouts. I love Turkish get ups. I'm starting to get into those again. I really like those. And
Awesome.
and I think like again, like I always think like progressing in and out of things. So like maybe you do an exercise 1 month, you either progress it the next month or maybe take that exercise out and put something in place of it and just
Yep.
continue to rotate. I think rotating. I mean, a lot of the guys say, a lot of the pioneers of training, it's like you're rotating like 15 to 20 movements your whole life. You just continue to rotate through
Right.
the basic patterns, right? And it's like I'm the same way. I mean, I tend to find myself like if I'll get in a kettlebell kick for a little while, but then I'll kind of back away and focus more on the dumbbell or barbell or whatever. All the tools work. It's just how you utilize the tools.
Oh, yeah.
So for me, like I do an upper day, a lower day, and then two full body days. So I've incorporated some kettlebell work, incorporating some athletic stuff. So I like to do box jumps. I like to do med
Yep.
ball work.
Yep. Yep.
I've been incorporating more of that stuff. I do ladder drills. I'm incorporating just kind of a wide variety. And then as we get closer to the winter, then I might go back to just heavy lifting and just just kind of keeping it more there, but still incorporate the athletic stuff and maybe just less of that. So I always look at it as I just go in phases. Like it's a seasonal thing. So, and then I still play basketball here and there. I
Yeah.
still swim. I started up boxing. There's boxing at our gym. So one
Sweet,
of the
man.
trainers, he's big into martial arts and kind of like that style of training. So I've been incorporating some boxing. Have you tried boxing before?
No, I've always wanted to. I'm actually funny you should
Amazing.
ask. My Vivi is about to turn 4. She turns 4 in
Yeah.
January. When she turns 5, she's going to be old enough for Muay Thai. And
Oh
there's
yeah.
a gym that one of my colleagues, the brother of the client of my colleague, who and it's Derek Chrysler, my Derek, obviously.
Yeah.
He trains professional fighters
That's
um,
cool. Yeah.
at Mike Perry's gym, Skill of Strength, in
Yeah.
Chelmsford, Mass.
Yeah.
Amazing gym, by the way. But
Yeah.
yeah, his brother owns a gym, United. I think it's called United Muay Thai, and
That's cool.
in Durham, about 15 minutes away. So when Vivi's old enough, we're both. My plan is for all of us to study it together and learn and be little ass kicking and
But
family.
I think for both of us, man. I mean, I'm sure again, any new clientele that we would have, or just any new trainee, I think that that's the advice I'd give too. Is just like be open to trying new things. I've probably
Absolutely,
said before. I think if you step outside the comfort zone a little bit, do hard things, and just do them consistently, like you're going to get better. And the key word is consistency. And obviously, with that is discipline too. Making sure you're not just motivated here and there. Like motivation comes and goes. It's so you're better off just sticking to the process. And that's why having a plan keeps you disciplined. You're like, okay, like this like tell yourself like this is what I'm doing on this day at this time, and just stick to
right?
that. Because I don't know about you, man. Like if I tell myself like, okay, here's my days, and I've been doing this for a while, and I'm sure you're in the same boat. Like I know on Mondays, okay, I'm focusing on upper body or whatever it is,
Yep,
or I'm focusing on your kettlebell stuff, whatever it is, and just
yep,
being consistent with that, then you'll find that you'll just not like you'll know, okay, Monday's kettlebell day. Like I gotta be ready to go, as opposed to just winging it. Be like, oh, like I guess I'll work out today. And
exactly.
that's the big difference from training to working out. Like working out, you're just getting a sweat on, but you might not be really focusing on anything.
Yeah,
That's where like we would tell any of our new people or even our veterans, like think of it as training. Like you're training for something. You're training for an adaptation. So that should be the goal, in my opinion, for anybody. Even if you don't have a specific goal yet. Like if you're not like sure, like I just like generally want to be healthy. That's cool, but let's eventually come up with something. It could
yep.
be anything.
I
It'd be like, hey,
agree.
I want to be able to like, walk up the stairs. I want to be able to carry my grandkids or whatever it is.
Yep,
Anything. And that's finding the why, and that's a whole other discussion. But I think we're both doing good of just keep progressing, and this doesn't stop, man. Right? It's like we continue to find things to
that's
get
right.
better and one up ourselves. So
I love it, man.
I always say it's you versus you, right? We're not competing against anybody else unless
You.
unless you're doing something that's actual competition. I mean, I
Oh,
think
sure.
it's really just us versus us. But yeah, man. Outside of that, anything else to add before we get into some book recommendations, maybe some audience questions slash like our own questions that maybe just a fun little lightning round.
Yeah, I think one takeaway for me over the last several years that just it's an idea that has continued to seep further and further into my brain
Yeah,
is simplicity.
yeah.
I love going down rabbit holes of things, as you know, just like you do.
Keep it simple, stupid. Keep it
Right.
simple, stupid.
And I've been super into kettlebells for the last 5 6 years, and I there's so much to learn.
Yeah,
I'd love to go to Cliff's workshop. It sounds really awesome.
yeah. I'll send you a link. I'm gonna write a note right now to send you
Please do,
that.
man. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, that's great. I love.
Cliff will
I've been
appreciate
to
that.
3 or 4 workshops at this point. I did the Strong First
Yeah.
kettlebell spurt back in 2019, and I've been to Phil Scarito's.
Well, you know what, man? I know what I just thought of. Maybe depending on what it is, maybe I would try to shoot down and even just be there. Maybe it's a cool event.
Yep,
I don't know when he's hosting it or where, as far as for your area, but
yep.
be curious to know. We can look into that.
Sounds good. Oh yeah, absolutely, dude. Yeah, hit me up. But the
Yeah,
one thing that's really continued to kind of dawn on me is simplicity.
yeah,
And I think yes, I agree with you. Consistency is important. We've got to have a goal. We need to know the goal, and like Dan John always says, keep the goal is to keep the
yeah,
goal, which I
yeah,
think is a great way of doing it. But
yep,
most things that you want to accomplish, whether it be a moderate goal, a high level goal, whatever, an elite level goal, um, most people focus on the outcome versus the process. So we've talked about process goals all the time. But the
yeah,
truth of the matter is that we want to make it ideally you should make it as simple as possible. That
yeah,
way it's the easiest plan to follow.
yeah,
So I think that I think we tend to overcomplicate things. Paralysis by analysis. You tend to just get super bogged down by all the little dirty details,
yeah,
and people don't start something because they need to have all the answers first, and that's just not how this thing works. And then on top of that, so speaking of rabbit holes, to come full circle, I've been watching a lot of Warren Buffett videos,
Okay.
like YouTube videos on investing and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
let me tell you, man, this guy is in his 90s. That guy's still very sharp, very with it, very on top of his game. He's like 94, I think now, and he's getting up there. He doesn't have a lot longer, a lot of time left, but he's still in the game, still runs Berkshire Hathaway. And this guy essentially took whatever, I can't remember what it was, but he bought his first stock back when he was 11 years old.
Oh,
And he
wow,
took
okay.
whatever he spent on that stock, he took that to the Berkshire Hathaway, to the level they're at now, where his net worth is 150 billion. So yes, we're talking about 80, or not 80 years, we're probably about 70, 77, 78 years, give or take. Or no, less than that, probably 70 years or so of time, which is key. But also, being consistent, but also a simple approach, which he talks about in many of his videos. He
Yeah.
says, when I buy a stock, I don't buy a stock, I buy a piece of a company. And my strategy, everyone always wants to know the strategy. This is my strategy. I buy good businesses at a fair price.
That's cool.
And
Yeah.
that's it. And I buy, he said, I buy good businesses at a fair price. And if I understand the business, if I believe in the business, and if I look at their balance sheet and their annual report and it looks like they're moving forward, and I think that that company will be worth more in the future, then I'm going to buy it. And I think it's a good deal, and it's really cool. It's very simple. And every time I saw videos of his during 2020, when the pandemic hit, the market crashed, there was a lot of stuff, and they kept asking him, "Has this changed your positions?" He said, "No, this doesn't change my positions. I don't change things based off of a one-off event like that.
Yeah.
Principles are principles, and they're principles because they never change. So I think just simplify, man. Simplify your
Yeah.
workout, simplify your nutrition, simplify your
Love that.
finances, and don't try to adopt these super extreme strategies that are not going to be sustainable anyway, and that you're not going to be able to keep it all up here anyway.
Yeah.
So
Well, just to,
simplify.
just to add to that, man, I've been rereading this book, Atomic Habits.
Yes, I love that book.
Yeah, so I read it obviously years ago. I mean, we've talked about it, and
Yep.
I started rereading it. Sometimes you get away from things you did, and I started to get back on the train of, again, like you said, keep it simple. And I like Atomic Habits. I mean, from what I remember, and as I'm reading and I'm recalling a lot of it, but just starting small, like starting with a lot less and then adding over time. You know what I mean? It's like, and small could be as like a really simple thing. Like it could be like, so let's say, for example, like if you're trying to get into a workout regimen or routine or training routine, just getting your bag out the night before, like your gym bag,
Absolutely.
associating that with, okay, like this is, I'm gonna keep my gym bag here, and put my workout clothes in there. That way I know, okay, today's a gym day. I'm going to the
Right.
gym at this time on this day, whatever it is. And then you kind of stick to that. But much to what you're saying, I totally agree. Because I think a lot of times people just make it so complex. Like, oh my God, I got to train. Like, if I want to get the results you're talking about, I got to train 6 days a week. I got to incorporate this, and this. And it's like, you're not going to be sustainable. It's like what you're
Right.
saying. That's where I think even Atomic Habits talks about that. Like, just get started and just do a little bit,
Just
and
get
then
started.
you could always add, like me or you maybe could add a little bit more complexity than someone that's just starting out or just new to this. But like the average person like doesn't need as much as they really think they need. So that's a great point.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's all I had to add to
Yeah.
that. But that was awesome, man. I think that's a great recommendation. I wrote that down too. So throw that in the show notes.
Yeah. And actually, to bring it back to Dan John one more time, who I
Yeah,
just love, his content's amazing. Dan John's a
yeah,
cool dude.
yeah.
Uh, one of my favorite quotes of his: "When things go wrong, simplify."
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't know, but I mean, I don't know Dan John well. He's came to Boyles when I was there, so I've seen him before, and
Yeah.
I want to say that I've met him at a couple seminars, but he wouldn't recognize me. I'm sure with you as well. I don't know him that well, but obviously
He
we know.
doesn't know. I don't know him in person
Yeah,
either.
being in the industry, you just know that name. You're like Dan John, like he's that cool, that cool uncle. We'd always say at Boyles, he was that cool uncle that you knew. Like he's just
Absolutely.
you just wanted to know about him and you wanted to hear about him. He was just a wicked cool dude and just
Right.
had a lot to tell you. And it was like very simplified. You're like, okay, that's the type of training I want to adopt or at least learn about. So he's really really good. But yeah, I mean, exactly what you're saying. I think all that stuff is great, and being able to leverage that and use that is really key.
Absolutely. Eric, you got any book recommendations? Or I guess Atomic Habits would be one.
Yeah. So I mean, Atomic Habits. Like I said, it was years ago that I was all about it, and then yeah, I mean, as you know, like rereading books are. That's why I keep. I mean, I don't know about you. Like I'll go back into a book and be like, oh yeah, like because
Absolutely.
a lot of times I'll highlight things or like underline things
Yep.
that are like really important. So every once in a while, just revisit things and just get yourself acquainted again is always good. But yeah, Atomic Habits. I haven't read this yet, but you've told me about it before. Think Again. I want to read Think Again. Adam Grant, I think it is.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, you've told me about it. I put it on a reading list years ago. Never
Cool.
got to it. It's just hard. You get busy, and I'm kind of all over the place with my reading. But what I do recommend has not came out yet, but I'm already going to recommend it. It comes out in 2000 or next year, 2025. The Five Types of Wealth. I put it on Amazon.
Oh,
So
sweet.
The Five Types of Wealth: A Transformation Guide to Design Your Dream Life by Sahil Bloom.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so that's going to be a book we should definitely. I've heard awesome things. A lot of people were mentioning it. That's going to be already recommended. I hope it's as good as advertised. I'm sure it is, but that's already going to be a recommendation for me. So
Speaking of wealth, I have one for you. Did you ever watch that Netflix series we talked about, Ramit Sethi, I Will Teach You to Be Rich?
yes, I have that. Yes, I have that in my notes too.
Have you read his book?
I have not. So it's funny. I wrote
Really
that
good.
too. It's a book I'm definitely intrigued on. I've read bits and pieces, but I need to read it in its
Yep.
entirety. So I wrote that down as a book that I think if nothing else, this pod holds us accountable. So I definitely want to talk about that.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah. No, I will say read it when you get a chance. It's actually older than you think. I think it first came out in 2009.
Yeah.
And I think it's this is now its third edition, second or third edition, I believe. But
Yeah.
I actually I subscribed to his YouTube channel and I've watched so many of his podcasts because a lot of his podcasts are like mini versions of the show. He
Yeah.
sits down, talks to these people, and he focuses on couples, which is really cool. He actually has another book coming out next year. Money for Couples, I think.
Cool.
Money for Couples. But he gives you Rami, this is the best finance book I've ever read, and he gives you just a solid playbook of what to do. He calls it his conscious spending plan, which is essentially it lays out your numbers and where everything goes. I mean, a lot of people oversimplify it and say it's a budget. I mean, it kind of is, but I think it's better than a budget because it shows you the percentages and it
Yeah,
gives
that's good.
a big picture view versus, ooh, I spent $6 on coffee, today. I need to tighten that up tomorrow. This looks
Yeah,
big picture. What are your investments? What are your savings, etc. So, but I've been
that's cool.
following his playbook, and my financial uh, game, if you will, has only improved, has only dramatically improved. And he gives you scripts like
That's
how to
cool.
talk to credit card companies when you're trying to work your debt down,
Yeah,
negotiating a raise. I mean, he goes into a lot of scenarios, and he injects a lot of hope into the reader because he talks about just to bring it full circle, long term thinking and how investing now, how it will pay off in the future, thinking about ROI and all that good stuff. So
I will teach you to be rich, right?
I will teach you to be rich. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
So
we have that. We have Five Types of Wealth
that's it.
by Sal Bloom and Atomic Habits.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah, I
solid.
mean, and Think Again too. That's on
And
there too.
thinking, and
So
I'll give that a. I think I have that one on Audible. I think I'll give it a re listen. So
yeah, cool, man. Yeah, I mean, that's all solid choices. I mean, for me, and I'm sure you're in the same boat too. It's like sometimes it's finding the time. Like I'm good at like if you have a hardcover book, in my opinion. I mean, obviously, if you keep it near your bed, there's more apps you're going to probably open it and read it a little bit.
yes,
If you just have it tucked away somewhere, you're probably not.
yeah,
But
yep,
audible books are good too. Yeah, because audiobooks. Said audible. Yeah, audiobooks are good because like you could just be on the go. You could be anywhere. You could
yep,
be just doing laundry. You could be
right,
on whatever on an air bike or whatever,
absolutely,
and
man. Yeah, yeah,
literally doing it anywhere. So yeah, I mean that, but definitely let's revisit those. I think those are all books that I'm gonna revisit and or read.
I love it, man. Eric, any final thoughts before we sign off?
No, I think we got some great stuff. Anything you want to do a quick lightning round or no? It's up to you.
Let's do it next time. Just because I think we're running a little bit over.
Yeah, we're running a little late. I see that too.
And,
cool. Yeah. So let's
we're
touch
obviously excited. We're obviously excited to be back in the game. So we had a lot to say.
Yeah. No, it's good. Cool. So make sure it's recorded. Is it recorded?
It is recorded. Yes. So
cool, man.
Had a lot of booze. One day we should do a blooper reel. We should talk about our blooper reel of incidents because we've had some doozies.
Yeah, I still laugh at the one you were pissed at this. I was too. The Casey one.
Oh my god, dude! Yeah,
it was like that. It was probably like our best episode ever.
Great. No.
And he's like, dude, I think you said at the end, you're like, I didn't hit record, or what'd you say? Something like right afterward.
I don't know what happened. Yeah, no, and the super lucky for us, he literally met with us the very next week, and we did.
And he was. I don't know about you. The second time was just as good. Like he did a great job.
Yeah, no, just as good. He's very well spoken.
Yeah,
but it was weird because that recording situation happened. It was also cold in there. You remember the heat wasn't working, so I was freezing my ass off in that gym, dude. It was like February or something. It was cold as shit in there.
I felt like I was like in like a wintry storm. I'm like,
well, it was like. We were like Gyllenhaal in Day After Tomorrow, holed up in the library. I was thinking about getting some books and burning them, man. That's
too funny.
No, but it was fun. But yeah, man, this was great, dude. I'm glad we're back in it. We got some great stuff coming y'all's way. We're gonna get super, down and dirty with training, fitness, health, all the good stuff. I really want to get some finance people on here. I don't care. I'm gonna DM Ramit. I'm gonna say, dude, I've watched all your podcasts. I read your book. I'm getting your second book. I want you on my show. And I'm just, what the hell? Let's see it. But I definitely want to get some people like, someone that does wealth management, someone that does personal finance, and people on there, because I think there are a lot of lessons that we can learn from fitness and from financial management / wealth that are related
parallel
and are very parallel. Yeah, that can complement one another. So that's something that I've been thinking a lot about. So
man.
I want to thank all of you so much for tuning in. Thank you for watching and or listening to us. If you stayed with us this long, that means you must actually like us at least a little bit. So we appreciate that. Please hit that subscribe button, and we will catch you guys next time. Oh, Eric, I'm gonna put you on the spot. Give me a dad joke.
Jeez, I was expecting that. Okay. Oh, jeez.
If you don't have one, I've got one.
You go. Next time I'm in. Next time I'll be on the spot.
What did the astronaut say when he was having a tough time? I need space. All right.
What a start. I think next time we'll do it in the beginning of the episode.
That sounds good. Yeah. I love it. All right, gang. See you next time.